In October 2017, a telescope in Hawaii caught a glint of light moving too fast to belong to our solar system. It wasn't a comet. It wasn't an asteroid we'd ever seen. It came from another star, and within weeks it was gone forever. We called it Oumuamua, a scout, a messenger, and to this day no one can fully explain what it was. Let me take you back to that night. The Pan-STARRS Observatory, perched high on a volcano, was scanning the sky for near-Earth objects. Routine work. But one faint dot refused to behave. Its path was not a gentle loop around the sun. It was a steep, screaming dive, a trajectory bent into the shape of something falling in from the void and falling right back out. Astronomers ran the numbers again and again. The conclusion was impossible to avoid. This object had not formed here. It had crossed the empty dark between the stars, traveling for millions of years before threading the needle of our solar system. It was the first confirmed visitor from beyond. They named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning a scout or a messenger from the distant past reaching out. But the closer they looked, the stranger it became. The first shock was its shape. As Oumuamua tumbled through space, its brightness rose and fell dramatically, flickering by a factor of 10 as it spun. The only way to explain that flicker was a body wildly stretched out. Some models suggested it was as much as 10 times longer than it was wide. A shard, a splinter, possibly 400 meters long and only 40 across. Nothing natural in our own solar system looks like that. Comets are dirty snowballs. Asteroids are lumpy potatoes. This was a cosmic needle, end over end, glinting in the dark. The second shock was its color. Oumuamua was deep red, the shade of something baked for eons by cosmic radiation. Its surface had been bombarded for so long by so much that it had taken on the dull crimson of the truly ancient. This thing was old, older perhaps than our sun. And then came the detail that turned a curiosity into a genuine mystery. As Oumuamua swung past the sun and began its long fall back toward the stars, astronomers measured its speed. It was moving slightly too fast, not by much, but enough. Something was pushing it. When a comet gets close to the sun, ice turns to gas, and that venting acts like a tiny engine, nudging the comet along. We see it constantly, but comets that vent gas grow a glowing tail. They release dust. We watch them brighten and bloom. Oumuamua did none of that. No tail, no coma, no visible jets, no dust. And yet it accelerated as it left, as if an invisible hand had given it a shove. The astronomers were left staring at numbers that should not have lined up. A push with no exhaust, motion with no cause they could see. So the theories began. Some said it was a comet after all, one venting a gas we simply couldn't detect. Perhaps pure hydrogen or nitrogen ice, ghostly and invisible to our instruments. Others imagined a fragment of a shattered planet, blasted off its surface in some long-dead solar system, drifting for ages until it grazed ours. A few wondered if it was a piece of frozen hydrogen, an iceberg from the coldest reaches of interstellar space, slowly boiling away in sunlight without leaving a trace. And then there was the boldest idea of all. A small number of respected scientists asked a question that most refused to say aloud. What if the shape and the push weren't natural at all? What if Oumuamua was a thin, flat sheet, a sail riding on the faint pressure of starlight itself? Not a rock, a craft, or the discarded debris of one. There is no proof of this? None. But there is also, frustratingly, no way to rule it out. Because here is the cruelest part of the story. By the time we understood we had a visitor, it was already leaving. Oumuamua moved at over 87,000 kilometers per hour. No spacecraft on Earth could chase it. We had a window of just a few weeks to study an object that had traveled for millions of years to reach us. And then it slipped back into the black. It is out there right now beyond the orbit of Neptune, tumbling silently toward the constellation Pegasus, growing colder and darker with every passing day. We will never see it again. We took a handful of measurements, a scattering of faint dots of light, and from those crumbs we built every theory we have. We never got a photograph. Not a single clear image exists of the first thing that ever came to us from another star. Everything you picture in your mind, The needle, the shard, the sail, is a guess painted over a smudge of data. Think about what that means. Something crossed the unimaginable emptiness between suns, passed within reach of our world, and we caught only a glimpse before it was gone. How many others have come before, unseen? How many slip through the dark each year while our telescopes look the other way? In 2019, we found a second visitor, a comet called Borisov, behaving far more normally. So interstellar objects are real? They are out there. They are passing through. But Oumuamua remains the strange one, the one that doesn't fit. The shard that came in too fast, glowed too red, and left with a push we still cannot fully name. Astronomers are building new telescopes now, vast eyes designed to catch the next visitor early, to chase it, to photograph it, to finally answer the questions Oumuamua left behind. Maybe one day one of those visitors will let us get close enough to see, but for now, somewhere in the cold beyond the planets, the first messenger is still falling away from us. Silent, ancient, unexplained. And if we ever do catch one in time, and we look closely, and we see something we were never meant to see, would we even know what we were looking at?